Hello again and welcome back to this course on fundamentals of data science. Now we are shifting into new topics, and today in this lecture we are going to discuss about various software tools available for data science. So this is the contents that we have here: languages for data science, software tools for data science, and cloud environment for data science. Well, let's see what is the objective that we have here. Programming languages for data science. There are various programming languages. Some are good, some are so-called bad in some sense. So it depends upon the domain in which you want to work also, and also it also depends upon what are the different applications that you are going to use. In some cases, some languages are really good for specific purposes, but it's always good to know more than one language. So choosing the right language is another thing that we have to discuss. Then comes the cloud environment for data science. Yes, almost all the packages and softwares that we have their specific advantages. We are going to look to it one by one. Let's begin by looking at some languages here. Data science languages. We know C++ was quite popular language for a long time, and then now we have Java coming up, then we had the Python coming in, and R programming. So we'll start with C++ and let's discuss about Python programming, R programming, Julia, Scala, MATLAB. It's another interesting tool that we can discuss, and TensorFlow. Java is still there, which can also be still used for data science purpose. And then you have this new Go language. It's also getting popular these days with the AI coming in. Well, let's discuss one by one. Let's begin with C and C++. Probably if you are a computer science student, you might have come across this language while you learned maybe data structures. Probably these days some schools have changed to Python in their second years. So let's see what this language has to offer. We know that C language is a general purpose language, but it's having a very strong background because we know that it is a system program can also be performed using C language. In fact, a low level task can be easily performed using C language. So that's one of the advantage of the C. In fact, C++ also has the same advantage for performing low level tasks, but it has some disadvantage as well, like for performing numerical analysis they don't have many libraries and packages to support us. In fact, the data science community is not popularly using C or C++. That's another reason, which means that if you get struck with some issues, you have to solve it by yourself, which is quite hard in C and C++. So that's some of the disadvantage of C and C++. That's why today many people are not using C and C++ for data science purpose. We will be checking on other languages. Before that, I would also like to highlight about Java. Java is another powerful object-oriented programming language which can be used for data science. In some sense, we can see still people are using Java. For example, in Hadoop, there is a tool called Hadoop. In Hadoop, for MapReduce purpose, we still use Java. And in some other tools that are coming along with certain packages for data science, still we are using Java. Apart from that, Java is not popularly used in data science, generally speaking. So what is popular, or why do we want to discuss about these languages? Because you are getting into learning about the fundamentals of data science. It is good if you get a grasp of some of the programming languages which are useful for data scientists. Let's look at this popular language called Python. Maybe by this time you already know this language, I suppose. And this language is very popular among the scientific communities of data scientists. And whenever you get a problem with any issues, you can find some solution somewhere who already had the similar issues. As Python programming provides data manipulation, data cleaning techniques, they have many good tools to support us. Simple abstractions of series and data frames can be performed, and tabular data can be used for cleaning, manipulating, and run some basic inferential analysis. So they have many tools. Some of the tools I like to mention here. One is called NumPy, and let's discuss one by one if you wish. NumPy is a library from the Python programming language. It adds supports for large multi-dimensional array. If you want to perform some array operations like matrix, for example, NumPy is a great tool, and along with the large collection of high-level mathematical functions and operations can also be performed using this NumPy. So that's advantage of using NumPy, because in data science we often have to use these features. Then comes the so-called popular pandas. Pandas is another software library from especially written for this Python programming language for data manipulation. If you want to perform data manipulation, you can go for using this Python library, and it offers certain operations like data structures and manipulating numerical tables. For that also this Python has been widely used. So that's another advantage of going in for Python if you really want to perform some tasks. And for performing some other tasks like plotting, we have something called Matplotlib. This is another very popular visualization tool for Python. So if you want to perform certain simple visualization part, you can go for this Matplotlib library, and you can use this for extensively. It can be used for any numerical mathematical extensions that are coming from NumPy, and if you want to express it visually, you can use these libraries for plotting graphs, and they are of great tools for user interface. So that's one of the advantage of going for Matplotlib if you are using Python. Then there are some more tools I like to just highlight. We don't have to go details into it. For example, like scikit-learn is another popular tool that you can find in this Python libraries. Yes, this is specifically is for the machine learning libraries for Python programming. It features various machine learning methods, for example, classification, regression, clustering algorithms, support vector machines. These are some of the popular machine learning methods, and these methods, for all these methods, you have this entire package that is very useful tool for you to right away implement any of those algorithms, any of those popular algorithms that is in hand. And apart from that, you do have other things like SciPy for, say, if you want to perform certain mathematical and scientific computing, you can go for this Python library, and especially for technical computing you can go and use this package. It can give us many good algorithms for optimization, especially with regards to linear algebra, for example, or interpolation part or integration part. Some special functions like signal processing or fast Fourier transform, you can go for this SciPy. So these are some of the popular tools that are available for Python. Still there are a lot of other tools that are available which can be used for various purposes. So these tools are useful in many different aspects. Well, right now I am sticking on to Python, which means that Python is one of the popular tools as well as it's one of the important tool I highly recommend If you are willing to learn a language, Python is highly recommended. And these are some of the wide range of package functionality. I already explained some of the names of the packages, and these are some of the things which can be done using those packages, like automation or data analysis. You can use machine learning algorithms right away for database documentations or user interface, graphical user interface, for image processing applications, for mobile applications, or scientific computings or text processing. There are a lot of packages available. And even today, right now, somebody somewhere is building up some libraries for Python which might be useful for you in some days. Like even if you come across some trouble like in performing some tasks, you can always go for the worldwide community of Python programmers who are ready to help you out, or they already have encountered a similar problem and you can check out possible solutions out there. That's for Python programming. Then comes the equally powerful programming called R programming. So before I go into the R programming, I'll just like to highlight a few more points here with Python. Python these days, there are many editors, many compilers are available, and many tools in fact has been proposed by various companies. Some of the popular tools I like to highlight. One of them is called PyCharm, and it's a very good tool for editing. I mean, not when I say editing, I mean it's kind of an editor where you can actually use Python programming and you can process all features that are related to Python using PyCharm. It's a kind of integrated system, just like if you're familiar with C or C++ compiling environment, it's just similar to that one, but it also has many other features of how you can include or find different libraries from the net. Let's consider this Jupyter Notebook. Jupyter Notebook is another similar package that comes for Python programmers. For example, it's an open standard and interactive computing environment. You can use even like directly you can use the webs to interactively program. And one of the advantage of this Jupyter is that as you program, as you type one line of command or one line of programming or a series of lines of programming, for every step and each step you can see whether it works or not. If you want to visualize, you can right away you can visualize there in the screen. So these days this Jupyter notebook is very popular among the people who are learning data science. So that's another advantage of using this Jupyter notebook. It's not hard to learn unlike other environments. So of course if you are choosing Python programming as your choice, then you have to choose an environment in which you are going to work with the Python, right? So for that you can go for Jupyter or you can go for PyCharm, or still there are many other interesting environments that are available. You can go for it, because as far as PyCharm is concerned, they have some restrictions with regards to using for some professional activities like performing tasks. But as far as Jupyter is concerned, it's 100% open source. And these days the Colab, the Google's Colab has a free Jupyter notebook environment that runs on the cloud, and you can store all the information on the Google Drive. So that is very convenient for every one of us, especially students. They can use it to learn in a wide range. Okay, now let's move on to another interesting language. It's called Ruby, and it's a dynamically typed language, and it uses the garbage collection supports. So Ruby is excellent for performing tasks such as data cleaning, data munging, along with other data pre-processing tasks. So only if you want to go for these tasks you can use Ruby, but as I mentioned, Python is also quite good in performing these similar tasks. Maybe if you go deep into Ruby, if you're already using Ruby, maybe you might see some programming paradigm in which they can offer certain functions which are quite good, and some people like to use it for certain tasks. So however, Ruby does not have the support that Python has. So they have some limitations along the way. So they have to overcome these limitations. For example, the worldwide community of Python programmers are quite strong when compared to the Ruby programmings. Yes, Python has an edge over when it comes to data science and machine learning. Then comes the R program. R has an environment called R Studio. So R programming is another popular, very popular programming language, and some people consider it as equal as Python, and especially it is getting popular among non-engineering fields like people in business or people from Department of libraries, departments of agriculture, or any other department, mathematical backgrounds like statistical processing can easily be performed using programming. This R programming is very easy programming language to learn. So if you are new to programming language, I strongly recommend you either to choose Python or R programming, because both of them are equally powerful. As far as most of the computer science engineers and other engineers are concerned, they would like to go for Python programming. Still, Python is not hard to learn when compared to using C++ or Java for data science. If you use Python for data science, it's still easier. Same way, R is not hard either. So R programming language again is a free software environment for statistical computing and graphic supports for R foundation of our statistical computing. So R has a R Studio. It's an environment where you can work the R programming, and it's been widely used today by statisticians and data miners for developing statistical softwares and data analysis. So it's been also ranked 9th among many popular programming languages. It's the popularity of our programming language is coming higher and higher. In other words, the rank has been getting higher and higher. Another reason is that R programming also been well supported by many strong data scientists who are using R programming. So that's another advantage of using this particular language. Then comes the MATLAB. As we know, the MATLAB allows matrix manipulation, plotting of functions and data, implementation of algorithms, creation of user interface, and interface with program written in other languages. Maybe MATLAB, if you are familiar, maybe some of you already know how to use MATLAB. It's there for a long time, especially it's used for many mathematical and statistical operations in the past. But even signal processing, for example, they had a package for signal processing, which is very good tool. Even for evolutionary computing, they have a package. For machine learning, they have a package. Generally speaking, even for data science, they have a wonderful tool. Again, this is the third software that comes next to Python and R programming when it comes to data scientist. Again, this is very, very powerful tool. Unlike Python or R programming, the visualization is kind of limited. Still, you can perform good visualization if you use the package as well. But the MATLAB has still very strong environment. So in this, they have a wonderful way to visualize the 3D images. And also you can also perform various tasks because they have a strong machine learning tools also deep learning tools. These days they have deep learning tools to support the data science actions. Like for example, MATLAB makes data science very easy with tools to access pre-processed data, build machine learning and predictive models, deploy models to enterprise IT systems, access, store in flat files. So they have, you can use database features, cloud storage you can use, data acquisition can be easily done, managing cleaning of data is also quite easy. So it's equally powerful, I would say, and it also been highly recommended to learn MATLAB. So when I say learning different languages, I recommend you know more than one languages or one software packages on how to use as far as data science students are concerned. It is always an added plus for you. So MATLAB especially is good for performing many tasks, for deploying machine learning models or any other things, like even if you want to perform dimensionality reduction, it can be done very easily. If you want to perform deep learning models, it can be done. And moreover, this environment can also help us to integrate with other programming languages like Python or R. These days they have features that can integrate with other programming languages. Now this next term is called TensorFlow, and TensorFlow is also free and open source software library for data flow and differential programming across the range of tasks. So these are very popular these days. This kind of a math library, actually, we don't call it as actual separate programming language. It's a math library, is used for machine learning applications such as neural networks. So if suppose you're working on that area and if you feel that you need to work on that area, you can go for this TensorFlow. Then comes the Amazon Web Server. Well, this is a cloud-based system, and Amazon Web Servers, they are quite popular these days because they can support lot of machine learning operations as well as deep learning operations, especially with regards to data science. Also they can integrate all the data, even streaming data can be fed into KRS systems, and they can perform various tasks that are being assigned to it. So these days many companies, they are based on artificial intelligence as well as data science or big data analytics. They go for Amazon Web Server. They actually provide a platform, a cloud computing platform, where you can just pay whenever you use their computing environment. And this computing environment also, they provide certain packages for you to perform machine learning tasks or data analysis tasks. All this comes as a whole package. The technical infrastructure is so strong that it's easier and cheaper to use the Amazon Web Server. So these days, if you learn about how to use these Amazon Web Server or other servers, other services related to this cloud computing platform, it is an added plus for you to work in the industry, because these days many industries, they use these servers from these servers. So here is an example of Amazon Web Service. For example, they have a path for data scientists. Like you can see, you can have simple elements of data science, or you can go for machine learning track, in which you can learn about various data science methods like pipeline for AWS, securities for machine learning, and you can learn more about how you can perform various tasks like including linear regression or logistic regressions, perform various other machine learning tasks like NLP, the natural language processing, developing and deploying the machine learning applications can be done in one single platform. So if you have this certificate, the so-called AWS Certified Machine Learning Engineers or Machine Learning Scientist, that would be an added plus to your CV. So I also recommend you, if you have time and if you like to know more about this, just go and register yourself as students. And I suppose initially they offer 1 year free environment where you can use to learn how it can be used, and there are free tutorials available in AWS website where you can learn how to use it. So if you get familiar with using it, probably you will be able to deploy various machine learning methods in the cloud platform. Similar to AWS, there is something called Azure. The Microsoft Azure also does a similar cloud computing platform. So it can be used for testing, deploying, managing applications of various Microsoft managed data centers, and it can perform various tasks like software as service or platform as service. And these days many machine learning methods can also be directly deployed using Azure. It's another platform which is very similar to AWS, Amazon Web Service and Microsoft Azure. They are two different platforms, but they have a similar frameworks, and any one of them it's good to learn, and so that you can be familiar with how you can deploy your system when it comes to the companies. So that's what we learned today. We talked about various programming languages, and especially with respect to data science, we know that Python is highly recommended, and R programming is equally powerful. Then comes the MATLAB. Yeah, MATLAB is also a key programming language. Sometimes some people don't call MATLAB as programming language, they call it as a tool or a software tool that is useful for many stuff, including signal processing or data science or any other task. There are a lot of packages that comes with MATLAB. So it's very easy. MATLAB programming is very easy when compared to Python or C++ programming. So you have to choose the right language that you want to learn, and you can use these to the full. Get over it. When I say get over it, I want you to master any one of those languages, so that you should be very strong in using these languages for various applications related to data science. And finally, we saw about the cloud environment for data science, which is AWS, Amazon Web Service, and Azure, Microsoft Azure. Yeah, it is also good if you could have a certificate on this. When I say certificate, it is good if you could be able to use that environment. Yeah, because that's one of the industrial need these days. If you're already familiar with that, it will be an added plus for you. That's all we have for today's lesson, and we are going to look forward to see some of the visualization tools, like data visualization tools, and that would be our topic for next session. Let's catch up there. Until then, goodbye.